In this video we are going to replace a kitchen mixer tap. This tap has started to leak and cannot be fixed by tightening the nut that holds the cartridge in position. To start off we need to isolate the water and drain down the pipes. I'm closing the internal stop tap to the property, ensuring I count the amount of turns to close it fully. I have now opened the kitchen tap and also the taps upstairs so that all the water will drain out of the pipework. It is important to drain down the hot and cold water. In this property the water is heated by a combi boiler. If you have a tank or a conventional system, you might have to close a gate valve to isolate the hot water. This tap is in a really difficult place to film, but I'll do my best. I'd also like to point out that the plumbing in this property is only about 9 years old and was done by so-called professional plumbers. However, the plumbing is an absolute disgrace. If you look up the back of the sink, you can see the horseshoe washer which holds the tap to the sink. This needs undoing. It is very difficult tightening and undoing the nuts which hold the taps in position, but you can make it a lot easier by getting a box spanner like that. You can actually buy a set of these, and these actually go from about 9mm up to 13mm. And you can see that that's a good fit on there. And then on this end I actually get a socket that will fit that end, and then I can use the ratchet to tighten and undo the nuts. Once the retaining nut is undone, the tap will become loose. Because this is the lowest point in the system, there will be some water left in the pipes, so it's a good idea to keep a bowl handy to catch the water. These Pushfit fittings are HEP 2.0 fittings and need the plastic nut undoing in order to be able to disassemble and undo the fitting before the pipe can be removed. I'm keeping those handy just in case I need to use them again. Ensure you take note of how the fitting is assembled. The tap can now be removed from above. You will notice that the old tap had rigid pipes at the base and the new tap uses flexitails. You can do me a massive favour by clicking the subscribe button, then the bell icon to receive notifications. If you can also like and share the video, that would be fantastic, as it really helps me out. On the new tap we need to insert the rubber washer into the recess at the bottom of the tap. Then both flexitails need screwing into the tap and gently tightening with a spanner. Some tap manufacturers recommend just screwing these in by hand, so please check the instructions. You will notice that these flexitails are colour coded, so they need to be installed correctly with the hot in the left hole. You can now screw in the brass studs and tighten those up. The tap can then be inserted back through the hole in the sink. And then from underneath we need to put the rubber washer on with the metal horseshoe washer, and then we need to put the two nuts on, and that will hold the tap in position. This part is incredibly difficult to film. If you're doing a like-for-like replacement, you can simply screw the end of the flexitails onto the fittings and tighten them up. I'm now unscrewing the plastic nut in order to remove the elbow. I don't mind admitting that I swore more than usual when doing this job, especially when I discovered that the plumbers had not used plastic pipe inserts in any of the joints. I'm then cutting a piece of copper pipe and using flat-faced isolation valves to connect to the new flexitail. Then it's held with water pump pliers and the nut is tightened. Because the isolation valves are going into Pushfit fittings, I'm tightening the flexitail nut onto the isolation valve before pushing it into the fitting. This way I can ensure that the screw on the isolation valve is facing forwards. Once the flexitails are tight, you can then close any taps that were opened to drain down. Then you can de-isolate the main incoming stop tap. I don't mind admitting that this was a real nightmare of a job, mainly due to the bad plumbing installation. You can now slowly operate the tap. Be aware that the taps could initially be airlocked and splutter until the air is forced out of the pipework. I hope you found this video useful. If you have and you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel.